Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, April 6th, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice here a couple of things. Number one, the ES continues to trade within the range that it established here over the last 8 days. This is now day 9 that is developing that range. We also have a wider range that spans from 2700 down to the recent low, and again, this could be the wider range that we may stay within for a while. Say for example price were to fall down to the lower edge and reject here, we likely come back to the prior pivot highs, and then we may see it turn back down again and trade, and it could be some sort of digestive trade after the recent move down. Now again, as I mentioned before, a breakout in either direction can still occur. This can break to the upside and continue higher, as high as 28, 29, or even 3,000, back to the 200 from below, which is 29.69. But at the moment, any bounce should be met with a bit of skepticism here, as the overall market continues to digest the overall economy. So, as right now, again, we continue to remain inside this 8-9 day range. We could easily see another push right back to the recent highs, and then we can see another move right back down to the recent lows. The upside break we're seeing right now is the break I mentioned that could happen Friday, but it never came, and now it's continuing a bit higher. I would keep an eye up here. Keep an eye on the ES at the current levels here. This is an important zone here, the previous month's close price. It's sitting right at it, 25.64s. A failure to hold that level could open up a return back toward 24.80 on an intraday basis. Alright, let's take a look here at the NQ. Again, for the NQ, we still have quite a bit of range-bound activity here. This is day 9 right now. It's gotten the upside break through 76.60, the level that I mentioned on Friday, that if we got above that level, we could see an intraday rally. It didn't happen. Instead, we got 2 tight compression days, and we got a Sunday night rally here. We've been holding at highs the entire overnight and pre-market, however, and we are sitting just above the previous month's close price. That previous month's close is right around 77.80, and again, if there's a rejection of this zone, we may see a push to the downside. So this is just like the ES. Here's the previous month's close going offered. Here's the previous month's close right now, retracing a narrow pivot range. Is that going to be offered as well? Are we going to see a tail left behind above 2-day highs that leads us lower? If so, that could open up quite a bit of weakness here that could easily retest this low. But as I've mentioned again, we may be in a wider trading range here, that even if we do retest the low and reject it, we may come right back to these prior pivot highs, and we could build a range for a while. So again, we're going to continue to watch this here. Watch the previous month's close. A rejection there could lead to a tail and an outside day down, even if things got really intense. So again, inside the range for now, unless a major rejection starts to happen at the previous month's close and we start to see a break through the downside. Here is a look right now at crude oil. Now this one's down 3%. Crude oil down 3% right now, but it is a pullback after the intense 2-day rally. We had a 3-day absorption right off the $20 level and off that 20 half level, and in 2 days we got the key range mid and top. Now we have the pullback. This is very important right now. We're seeing a pullback here after the 2-day rally, and despite being down 3%, you can see that price is above the Sunday night open, and we could be looking at, again, a continuation higher in the week to come. Overall, if you take a look at the weekly time frame as well, it's a pretty big solid bar. Any pullback as deep as the midpoint of that bar could be a buying opportunity, and that's 24.20. So we could drop as low as 24.20 and still be a great buying opportunity here anytime throughout the week on a weekly chart basis, as this thing looks to continue higher. Now, where would the upside targets be? If this were to hold, that just call it 24.50, because that's the 8-period average. We can drop into 24.50, the 8-period average, and bounce, or that 2420 zone, right? Anywhere in that zone. But we're still in a bearish trigger zone, right? We're still trending downward. If we can't hold that level, we see another lower high and go. So a couple of things need to happen here. First, it needs to continue to hold the 8 period. It could drop below it like it did here, but it needs to continue to hold that zone. And then next, obviously, you need to start pushing through 30, or through the key range high, really. And that's the 2850 level. Above that zone opens up 3250 and 3650. Those are the next two upside targets. That's where you have a major top here. Not sure we see a push beyond there in this market. But if this thing did get some juice here, 3250 could be an easy target, followed by the potential to see the 100 extension at 3650. All right, lastly, taking a look here at gold futures. This one is up 1.6% right now. Again, we've mentioned the range 1700 to 1450, and then the 1560 up to 1700, right? That's the other little range here. And so we're on our way up. We had a great rejection here. We talked about any pullback could be a buying opportunity here off the pivot range to begin the month. And now we could be looking at a retest of 1700 here ahead. Overall, likely to stay inside the range, likely to stay inside 17 to 16 or 1560. But if it does get above 1700 and starts to move pretty strongly, we have a couple of upside targets here that could be in play. Number one, pushing through 1700 opens up the 25% target for the month, 1767 I believe, and then you have also the 50% extension is 1750. So if it was to break through those highs, we could see an extension toward those two targets down the road. Overall, the expectation is we likely come up here, reject and come back down, and continue to trade in the range. But anything can happen, so we'll continue to watch the key levels. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this develops the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.